Hello, my dear students at home. Welcome to St. Charles Online College Teaching. I am Umeh Fidelia from the English department. The lesson we take today is based on literature in English language. And we are going to look at the text, The Lion and the Jewel by Wole Soyinka. The topic is the plot account of the text, The Lion and the Jewel. Specific objectives. We want to look at those things you, the student, will be able to learn, things you ought to learn from this lesson. 1. At the end of this lesson, you should be able to read and answer questions from the text correctly. 2. Give an account of the plot correctly. And 3. State and explain the setting of the play. Lesson content. The Lion and the Jewel by Wole Soyinka. We want to talk about the author. The author, Wole Soyinka, was born in the year 1934 in Abeokuta, Ogun State, Nigeria. He graduated from University College Ibadan. He did his postgraduate study at the University of Leeds in England, where he wrote his first play, The Swamp Dwellers, in 1959. By the early 1960s, he had gained international recognition as a dramatist. He is now Professor of Comparative Literature at the University of Ife, Nigeria, and President of the International Theatre Institute in Paris. Wole Soyinka is a versatile person who sings, acts, and produces plays. He can best be described as a poet and a playwright. He has written nearly 20 plays, including A Dance of the Forest in 1960, Madmen and Specialists, The Trials of Brother Jero in 1960, Jero's Metamorphosis in 1974, Death and the King's Horsemen, The Lion and the Jewel in 1963, A Play of Giants 1984, The Strong Breed, Kogi's Harvest, and The Beggar's Opera. Among his other books are The Interpreters in 1965, The Man Died in 1972, which was an autobiographical account of his imprisonment during the Nigerian Civil War. In 1983, Wole Soyinka was awarded the Nobel Prize winner for literature. The plot account. The story in the play, The Lion and the Jewel, happened in the village of Ilunjeli, with its flourishing traditional customs and tradition, a village which may be said not to have been ready to experience modernity. There lived the Baal and the traditional ruler, Baroka, his head wife, Sadiku, the village Baal, Sidi, and the 23-year-old teacher, Lakunle. Baroka, as a representative of tradition, still lives within the details of the Yoruba culture, avoiding modernity, while patronizing polygamy and protecting tradition, to the extent that he bribes against Ilunjia's springing up as a modern environment. Sadiku is Baroka's head wife, who seems to be comfortable with her place among the lion's harem. So comfortable is she that she is willing to welcome yet another wife, Sidi, for Baroka. She not only carries out the function of informing Sidi, the jewel, that her husband wants to marry her, she eventually makes it possible, ironically, for the 62-year-old traditional ruler to achieve his aim. Lankule is the village school teacher, who is fond of Sidi, whom he wants to introduce to civilization, unlike the women of old. He said, "Together we shall sit at the table, not on the floor, and eat, not with fingers, but with knives and forks and breakable plates, like uncivilized beings." Page 8. He wants Sidi to be his wife, but he is not prepared to pay the bride price. He thinks that paying the bride price would make Sidi appear to be his mere property. In contrast, Sidi wants her bride price to be paid in order to forestall the villagers from thinking that she has lost her virginity. She said, "I was no virgin, that I was forced to sell my shame and marry you without a price." You will see that on page 7. It is in this state of things that Baroka, whom Lakule despises, appears ready to contest for Sidi's hand in marriage. with a far younger school teacher who has the advantage of modern education, youthfulness, and probably vigor. Because of Sidi's vanity, Baroka sends across a message that he has turned impotent, which he announced to the outside world through his flippant head wife, Sadiku. But it was all a bait. Sidi, who is now so full of herself, because her pictures now adores magazines are now an object of desire by men, falls for the lure and goes to visit Baroka, whom she refuses to visit earlier, in order to mock him sexually. In this process, she loses her virginity and is prepared to marry the old man, while dumping Lakunle, whom she considers to be a weakling, a no match for Baroka, watered down, a beerless vision of unripened. The setting of the play. There are two identifiable places serving as the play's setting. There is the village arena and the ballet's bedroom. The play has rural setting, hence the local songs, native language Yoruba, customs and tradition predominant in the play. It is clear from the setting that the people still live in primitive era. They lack sophistication, although modernity is threatening to overrun the village, Ilunje. There is the physical setting of a market in which stands the Order tree and part of Lakunle's school block protruding outside. The Ilunje village is largely a rural area, still steeped in moonlight shining at night and storytelling going on among mothers and their children. The block of a building having a classroom taught by Lakunle symbolizes the trudging world of Western civilization, while Baroka's bedroom, an ordinary traditional room, showcases the hinterland of Africa, bears guns and animal skins. This portrays Baroka as a praying fellow and a metaphorical hunter who will not spare anything of interest to him. And so, we can coin from the above that the play's historical setting is the post-independence Nigeria, when the ancient ways, primitivity, is gradually paving way to modernism. So the story in this Lion and the Jewel took place after the white men arrived in Nigeria. There is also the setting based on time in the play. I hope you remember what we mean by setting. Setting has to do with the time, it has to do with the place, and the geographical location of the play. Even the language the people speak there is also part of the setting. So in this novel, we will notice that we also have another part of the setting which is based on time in this play. There is morning, moon, and night. Morning represents innocence and adult existential experience. In morning event, there is youthfulness, the period when Lakule is dominant and expresses love sentiments to Sidi, which cannot be said to be concrete gestures, especially as he plays down on bride price payment. Included in this type episode is the mime tale of the lost traveler, adventure, discovery, love, and drunkenness. The night is full of deception. Sadiku, the head wife of the Baal, Baroka, spreads the sad tale of the ballet's eventual impotence after his several exploits with women. By so doing, she unwittingly advanced her husband's further exploits, this time with a 17-year-old village ballet beauty known as Sidi. There is also the mock duel between Baroka and his engaged wrestler, with whom he regularly exercises himself. The night shows the adult world of intrigues. The night also bears a scene of the masked male, who is pursued by a group of female dancers, Sidi. Sidi, being a young girl, does not know what the mask and the man behind it portends. Here, the masked male later turns into a Baroka, which will consume the young and inexperienced Sidi. Noon has its own implication. It connects to the day. It shows innocence just like in the morning time. though there still exist hints of impending harm. There is, for instance, the love message of Bale to Sidi through Sadiku, his wife. Here at noon, we are told of Baroka's past and present through the use of mine, in which he bribed the white surveyor so that he, traditional ruler, can further exploit Ilunje's innocence. Here too, his predatory eyes centered on Sidi, whom has no further information about the old man except that he has lost his virility after years of dealing with women and is now faced with possible shame. This is the setting in which the jewel literally walks into the mouth of the lion. So the title of the book, The Lion and the Jewel, comes from here because it has been announced by the Baroka that he is impotent. He now spread the news to the villagers through his flippant head wife, Sadiku. Now, Sadiku went about telling people that the husband is impotent. And so, Sidi, who initially refused to answer to the call of the Baroka, later, when she heard the story that he was impotent, decided to go and visit him in order to mock him because he was no longer sexually strong. And so, unfortunately for her, she went there not knowing that it was a bait. He just used that impotence of a teen to set a trap for Sidi, and Sidi now came to see if actually it was true. And unfortunately, she lost her virginity. So that is the title. That is where the title of the text, The Lion and the Jewel, comes from. The significance of some major events of the setting. In the setting, they told us so many things about the village. And those events that happened in the villages, they have significant effect to the understanding of the novel. One, we have the modernity. Modernity is about taking roots. Tradition is still very influential. While Lakunle, the 23-year-old teacher, represents modernity, Sidi represents the yet powerful tradition, which has refused to surrender to the new ways of life. This is depicted by Sidi, who is not cowed by the modern. She doesn't want to be modern at all. She likes the way she is, being a village girl. The second one is the dressing of Lakunle illustrates that he is not totally modern. We are told his suit is threadbare, although it is not ragged. It may be clean but not ironed. His tie is said to be done in a very small knot, symbolizing Lakunle's scant exposure to the outside world or the new culture. 3. The dragging of Sidi's pay represents the push and pull factor in the existence of the old and the new. The push and pull factor there. The villagers, they don't want to accept modernity. And because the primitive refuse to give way to modernity, modernity is finding it difficult to penetrate into the village. Lakunle wants Sidi to be a modern woman, whereas Sidi does not want to be a modern person. She is comfortable with the way things are. Lakunle is so sure of the new life that those who are indifferent to it, like Sidi, incurs his wrath and brings out the rudeness in him. He describes Sidi as being stubborn, as an illiterate goat. Lakunle is so concerned about converting Sidi that he asks her, "Do you wish to look squashed like my pupil's drawings, with bearing loads on her heads?" Earlier, he had assured Sidi that however she looked, it will not affect his love for her. As if he doubts what he has just said, he remarks, "Yes, I will stand by every word I spoke." You will see this on page 2. Lakunle turns moralist. He wants Sidi to cover her shoulders because he can see quite a good portion of that. It is apparent that he does not want to share the lusting after Sidi with the shameless men, casting their lustful eyes where they have no business. Page 3. There is a contradiction here. Bearing of the body by women is modern. If you look around you these days, see women showing part of their body. their shoulders will be bare. Some of them wear mini skirts. They bear those labs they are not supposed to expose. And so, because of that, we say there's a contradiction. Bearing of the body by women is modern, yet he does not support it at this point. This is part of why it could be said that Lacule's notion of modernity is restricted. Evaluation. You have to answer these questions and send them to my WhatsApp number. Number 1, what is setting? 2, in your own words, you have to explain the setting of the play, The Lion and the Jewel. 2, give the plot account of the play, The Lion and the Jewel. 3, list 2 events and explain their significance to the understanding of the text. 4, list 3 themes in the text, The Lion and the Jewel. For you to do this, it means that you have to read the text. Read the text properly for you to get the themes in the novel. Assignment. In the case of this assignment, you do it on your own to enhance your understanding of the text. Number 1, you have to read the text, The Lion and the Jewel. 2, identify the major events in the text. 3, you have to learn the significances of those events in the text. 4, learn the character traits of the major characters. That is, you have to talk about the characters of the actors there or the actresses, what you think about them, and what other people say about them. Number 5, learn the techniques used by the playwright in the text. Number 6, identify and explain the themes in the text, The Lion and the Jewel. My dear students, I believe that all we have said, you'll be able to pick 1 or 2 things from all we have said. And to help yourself out, please read the text, The Lion and the Jewel. If you don't read it, it will be very difficult for you to follow this text. The WhatsApp number is 070-4505-7690. Thank you for listening. May God bless you.